chapter. Reading the Bible here begun. Followers join in morning sun. Twitch lighten up with holy words. Every verse so deeply heard, guiding us with sacred text. Journey's long, but we're all blessed. Everybody in here blessed. Everybody in here blessed. Everybody in here blessed. Everybody in here blessed. Shots alive with praise and hope. Together we find ways to cope. Dapper style with faith so true. Pastor leads us, see it through. Morning coffee, Bible in hand, spreading love across the land. Saxophone melodies play slow. In this digital pew we grow. Everybody in here blessed. Everybody in here blessed. Everybody in here blessed. Everybody in here blessed. Chats alive with praise and hope. Together we find ways to cope. Dapper style with faith so true. Pastor leads us, see it through. I'm blessed. Everybody in here blessed. Everybody in here blessed. Everybody in here blessed. Everybody in here blessed.
Master in a flat cap so dapper, streaming live with a heartfelt chapter. Reading the Bible here begun. Followers join in morning sun. Twitch lighten up with holy words. Every verse so deeply heard, guiding us with sacred text. Journey's long, but we're all blessed. Everybody in here blessed. I'm 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 blessed. Chats alive with praise and hope. Together we find ways to cope. Dapper style with faith so true. Pastor leads us, see it through. Morning coffee, Bible in hand, spreading love across the land. Saxophone melodies play slow. In this digital pew we grow. Everybody in here blessed. I'm blessed. 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 Morning coffee, Bible in hand, spreading love across the land. Saxophone melodies play slow.
Welcome in, everybody. Stream Deck not working again today. I don't know what the problem is at times. Why it isn't connected. Why it doesn't connect. Why it doesn't let me use it to switch things. That's a bit aggravating. Galaxy, tip of the cap, friend. tip of the cap to you. I hope you're having a blessed day. And the spot of tea is Earl Grey today. Earl Grey. Thank you, friend. I was just looking. I go, oh yeah, I've got Nerd Culture Ministry Summit, and I've got ReachCon and Conf. Two places that you could do an IRL meetup with me if you want to go to Orlando in September, or you want to go to Colorado Springs in November. I need to get those more distinctly posted and advertised. And I'm just looking at it like, I need to play around a little bit more with the song. I don't know if it matches up as well. I just kind of like got it together because I wanted to switch to the new song that got made for the intro, excuse me. I think I need to spend a little more time working on that. I don't know that I'll have time this weekend, but I think I need to spend more time modifying that to try to get the hats to match, which is funny because when I made the original one, I just put all of the images together in a row, and then I picked a song and threw the song on top of it. So it just fit. What I might do though, I might blend, because there's 6 different versions. Maybe I blend a little more of all those versions overlapping each other, fade in, fade out, style-wise. I don't know how to play with that, see if that's a fun thing to do or not. But welcome in, glad you are here. Let's take a look at the, I can't even do that. Let's take a look at the fishes this morning. There are the baby koi. Getting bigger every day, I swear it. Ooh. Sun not quite up yet this morning. Hiding behind the clouds. Oh, they are active. What's going on there? Whoa, what's up? Something in the pond that's causing them to stir? Or they... No, don't tell me they're spawning again. Please don't tell me they're spawning again. I don't have room for more fish. Wow, I don't know what's up, really. That looks like spawning activity to me. And there's foam all over the pond. Oh my goodness. Are they spawning again? I think they're spawning. That is what that looks like. I'm going to turn the sound on. I don't usually have the sound on in the pond unless I'm doing a pond stream. Yeah, that definitely looks like spawning activity. Wow. Okay. Maybe I need to go in the koi breeding business since it looks like I already am. I gotta see if I can find a place to sell them. My mom was suggesting, you know, going to a pet store. My thought is the pet store probably already has suppliers, so they wouldn't be looking to someone else to sell them koi. But I could probably start trying to sell them locally. I think I'm going to have to. Now, breeders usually, and I have not studied this, they usually separate the males from the females, and then they do like, you know, you do with cows or whatever, you do the trying to think what you call it. Artificial insemination, but that's not quite the right word. So they get the eggs from the females, and they get the sperm from the males, and they mix them separately, and they don't let the fish actually spawn. They do it artificially to try to protect the fish, which are valuable. Because that girl is going to get tired there. So it'd be a good way for me to see which ones are my females, potentially. The ones that keep getting chased. Wow, this is cool. I should just change it to spawning stream. Sis Pineapple! The fish are spawning, Sis Pineapple. Yeah, I know you meant cool, not cooked fish. Yeah. Which is really surprising to me, because they spawned like, 2 months ago, or 6 weeks ago. Which is why I have all the baby koi. But it appears that they are spawning, and that's partly why I'm thinking all of the foam is on top too. The behavior looks like it. Hey, Johnny Darko, welcome in. My fish appear to be spawning, so I'm just fascinated and watching right now. I've been feeding them oysters again. No, that's a big negatory. All of a sudden I was looking at a fish that looked like it was coming out of the water. It's hiding over there in the corner and flopping. I was going to get concerned for a minute. And I almost took all the seaweed out, because the seaweed is where all the eggs will end up on. Yeah, MJ, the fish are spawning. Yeah, it's supposed to be a family stream. Well, they're just swimming. They're just swimming. Keep on swimming. And squishing each other. Yes, if I leave the eggs in the pond, they will eat the eggs. So if I don't want any fish, or baby fish, I could just leave the eggs in the pond and they would eat them all. What I was thinking I was going to do was to try and get a, not aquarium inside, but a tank inside that I could work on holding the fish. And now I have to make a decision if I'm going to do that or if I'm going to just let the eggs stay in there and let them eat them. But I really don't want to do that. They're going to do this for several more hours. So, all right. You didn't come here to watch a fish spawning stream this morning, so that totally took me by surprise. There's the guppies. And there's the baby koi. Sorry, baby koi, you are not that as exciting today as your parents are. Your parents are much more exciting today. Okay. Bum, bada, bum, bum, bum. Wow, that was quite fascinating. I've still got it on my screen. Sorry, you can't see it, but I still have it on my screen to be watching. And I adjusted this a little bit. I know I got chat really big over here on the side, but I just feel like if I have the whole of Scripture all the way across and me and I don't know if that works, doesn't work. Also, we're starting at 2 Samuel 22 today. I need to get this all updated. I know I'm behind on that. But as long as we know where we are, we should be good. But see, this hopefully, with the center like this, when I go to make my vertical clips, it has all of that, all the text in there now. I had it a little wider. I made it a little narrower. I think we'll be good that way. Could actually make this if I get on it. Where is it? Oh, that's why. Right. Okay. Let me do this a minute. There we go. That'll do. Okay, so we're in 22. I don't like that title, The Gibeonites Demand Revenge. That's not how I would have worded it, but anyway. I would have said something about justice is carried out for the Gibeonites. That would be how I would say it, because they didn't demand revenge. They said if seven people are given to us to execute justice, that will be enough. That's not revenge, in my opinion. Sorry, that's not revenge, the way I would look at it. Because they're not escalating the problem. They're not taking matters into their own hands. You know, those kinds of things. I'm just looking. I'm going to move this here just a second if I can get on the right thing. There we go. Sorry, I was playing around with some stuff this morning to adjust things, and now I'm just tweaking it, or it will bug me the rest of the stream. Okay. So we're going to have David sing. So this is interesting. What's the footnote there? In this long song of thanks, David affirms that God is his faithful protector. He recalls in highly poetic fashion how God intervened in awesome power and delivered him from death. His experience demonstrates that God vindicates those who are blameless and remain loyal to him. True to his promise, God gives the king victory on the battlefield and enables him to subdue the nations. A parallel version of the song is in Psalm 18. That's interesting. So we can go to Psalm 18, find a very close rendition of this song, which, you know, I'm not going to sing. But David sang to the Lord the words of the song when the Lord rescued him from the power of all his enemies, including Saul. He said, "The Lord is my high ridge, my stronghold, and my deliverer. My God is my rocky summit where I take shelter, my shield, the horn that saves me, my stronghold, my refuge, my Savior. You save me from violence." Hey, Lucis, welcome in. The parallel version does not include the violence part. That's interesting. "I called to the Lord who is worthy of praise. I was delivered from my enemies. The waves of death engulfed me. The current of chaos overwhelmed me. The ropes of Sheol tightened around me. The snares of death trapped me. In my distress, I called to the Lord. I called to my God. For the heavenly temple, he heard my voice. He listened to my cry for help. The earth heaved and shook. The foundations of the sky trembled. They heaved because he was angry." Ooh, that's interesting. So he heard my cry. Because of my cry, he's become angry. Electropod, welcome in. "Smoke ascended from his nose." Okay. This is why I love Hebrew. I love Hebrew because it's an image-based language. Instead of so he was angry, but more than that, they show us he was angry. Smoke is coming out of his nose. Like he is hot. He is on fire. Like there's your image of the anger. Smoke billowing out his nose. Not literally. This is poetic, but I love that image. Fire devours as it comes from his mouth. He hurled down fiery coals. So we got smoke pouring out his nose. Fire-breathing God of anger here. Oh, yes. God in the Old Testament can be pictured as angry. When? When injustice has happened. When injustice is coming upon someone. When he is going to act to vindicate people. He made the sky sink as he descended. A thick cloud was under his feet. He mounted a winged angel and flew. He glided on the wings of the wind. He shrouded himself in darkness, in thick rain clouds. From the brightness in front of him came coals of fire. The Lord thundered from the sky. The Most High shouted loudly. He shot arrows and scattered them, lightning and routed them. Okay, so look how he is describing this. He is describing the elements, storms and thunders and fire from the sky and burning coals, fire and brimstone. The actions of creation are the way in which God is getting justice. The depths of the sea were exposed. The inner regions of the world were uncovered by the Lord's battle cry, by the powerful breath from his nose. He reached down from above and grabbed me. He pulled me from the surging water. So he talked about earlier, like he's in the chaos. He's going down in the depths, metaphorically, surrounded by, and he's parting the sea to reach down and grab him from within there. They confronted me in the day of calamity. He rescued me from a strong enemy, from those that hate me, from those who were too strong for me. They confronted me in the day of calamity, but the Lord helped me. He brought me out into a wide open place. He delivered me because he was pleased with me. Oh, I love that. Yeah, the octopus. Yep, reaching down in the depths. Then the Lord repaid me for my godly deeds. He rewarded my blameless behavior, for I have obeyed the Lord's command. I have not rebelled against my God, for I am aware of his regulations, and I do not reject his rules. I was blameless before him. I kept myself from sinning. The Lord rewarded me for my godly deeds. He took notice of my blameless behavior. You proved to be loyal to the one who is faithful. You proved to be trustworthy to the one who is innocent. You proved to be reliable to the one who is blameless, but you proved to be deceptive to the one who is perverse. Like, however someone is acting towards you is the way that they will see you. Oh, MJ, you were doing pools, hot tubs, and beaches? Were you on vacation doing something, or? I'm guessing you weren't doing a hot tub stream. You delivered oppressed people, but you watch the proud and bring them down. Indeed, you are my lamp, Lord. The Lord illuminates the darkness around me. Indeed, with your help, I can charge against an enemy. By my God's power, I can jump over a wall. The one true God acts in a faithful manner. The Lord's promise is reliable. He is a shield to all who take shelter in him. Indeed, who is God beside the Lord? Who is a protector besides our God? The one true God is my mighty refuge. He removes the obstacles in my way. He gives me the agility of a deer. He enables me to negotiate the rugged terrain. He trains my hand for battle. My arms can bend even the strong bow. You give me your protective shield. Your willingness to help enables me to prevail. You widen my path. My feet do not slip. I chase my enemies and destroy them. I do not turn back until I wipe them out. Wipe them out and beat them to death. They cannot get up. They fall at my feet. You give me strength for battle. You make my foes kneel before me. You make my enemies retreat. I destroy those who hate me. They cry out, but there's no help for them. They cry out to the Lord, but he does not answer them. I grind them as fine as the dust of the ground. I crush them and stomp them to clay in the streets. You rescue me from a hostile army. You preserve me as a leader of nations, people over whom I had no authority and now are now my subjects. Wow. So we've got a whole bunch of enemies coming against me. God's doing the deliverance. I mean, this is like they're all gone, and now even putting me in charge and over others that weren't even a problem. Hey, Hap, welcome in. Hanging out while working. Awesome. Appreciate it. Foreigners are powerless before me. When they hear of my exploits, they submit to me. Foreigners lose their courage. They shake with fear as they leave their strongholds. The Lord is alive. My protector is praiseworthy. The God who delivers me is exalted as king. The one true God completely vindicates me. He makes nations submit to me. He delivers me from my enemies. You snatch me away from those who attack me. You rescue me from violent men. Okay, so are you starting to hear some repetition that we saw in the beginning? We're getting it. There could be a chiasm here. And that's just where you've got a parallel that goes A, B, C, and maybe D, and then you go C, B, A. So you're going in and going out, and you're pointing to the thing in the center, which God in the center was the vindicator. So I will give you thanks, O Lord, before the nations. I will sing praises to you. He gives his king magnificent victories. He is faithful to his chosen ruler, to David and to his descendants forever. So we have a song. Now we're going to have the final words of David. Yes, exactly, Lucis. Yeah. These are the final words of David, the oracle of David, son of Jesse, the oracle of the man raised up as the ruler, chosen by the God of Jacob, Israel's beloved singer of songs. The Lord's Spirit spoke through me. His word was on my tongue. The God of Israel spoke. The protector of Israel spoke to me. The one who rules fairly among men. The one who rules in the fear of God is like the light of the morning when the sun comes up. A morning in which there is no clouds. He is like the brightness after rain that produces grass from the earth. My dynasty is approved by God, for he has made a perpetual covenant with me, arranged in all its particulars and secured. He always delivers me and brings all I desire to fruition. But evil people are like thorns. All of them are tossed away, and they cannot be held in my hand. The one who touches them must use an iron instrument or a wooden shaft of a spear. They are completely burned up right where they lie. Okay, so that's interesting. It says this is the last words of David. I know this is in the text, okay? So I'm not saying that that's the part that's interesting, but it's almost like yeah. It's a continuation. It almost feels that way. Anyway, that's what it feels like to me. It feels like it's a continuation of the previous thing. These are the names of David's warriors. So we're like getting a recap at the end of the story. There's a recap at the end of the story. Joshab, Bashabeth, a Takamanite, was head of the officers. He killed 800 men with his spear in one battle. Next in command was Eleazar, son of Dodo. Oh my goodness, son of Dodo. Did we look up Dodo before? Did we look up? We need to look up Dodo. 2 Samuel 23. I can't help it. That's just, like Dorcas. Like, gotta go look that name up. Which, by the way, means gazelle. Dorcas means gazelle. We're in verse 9. Son of Dodo. Maybe like the bird. I don't know.
Strong's H 1734. Dodo. Dodo.
Sorry, the way he said it sounds really demeaning. It means his beloved. So, wow, if you called someone a dodo, that could be a term of endearment. You could call someone your dodo, your beloved. I'm not suggesting you do this. But if you love a pet, maybe name a pet that, just out of fun. Just out of fun, Oh, come here, my little dodo. No. The son of Ahohai, he was one of the 3 warriors who was with David when they defied the Philistines who were assembled there for battle. When the men of Israel retreated, he stood his ground and fought the Philistines until his hand grew so tired that it seemed stuck to his sword. The Lord gave him victory on that day when the army returned to him. The only thing left to do was plunder the corpses. Okay, so Princess Diana used to be called Fuad Dodi. Used to call Fuad Dodi. Okay. I think I've heard of Dodi, but I don't know what Fuad is. Is that part of his name? I don't think I've ever heard that. Next in command was Shammah, son of Agi. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Fayad. Okay. Spelling probs. I gotcha. Or autocorrect or typing. One of the 3. Next command was Shammah, son of Agi, the Hararite. When the Philistines assembled at Lehi, where there happened to be an area of a field that was full of lentils, the army retreated before the Philistines. But he made a stand in the middle of the area. He defended it and defeated the Philistines. The Lord gave them a great victory. At the time of the harvest, 3 of the 30 leaders went down to David at the cave of Adullam. A band of Philistines was camped in the valley of Rephaim. David was in the stronghold at the time, while the Philistine garrison was in Bethlehem. David was thirsty and said, "How I wish someone would give me some water to drink from the cistern in Bethlehem near the gate." So the 3 elite warriors broke through the Philistine forces and drew some water from the cistern in Bethlehem near the gate. They carried it back to David, but he refused to drink it. He poured it out as a drink offering to the Lord and said, "O Lord, I will not do this. It is equivalent to the blood of the men who risked their lives by going." So he refused to drink it. Such were the exploits of the 3 elite warriors. So, proof that lentils are good for you. Yes, you can defeat an army in the middle of a lentil field, I guess. That's... This is always one of my favorite stories, and I always felt like, why are you pouring this out? Okay, so if we take this parallel here, and like these stories are just like, we're throwing in some extra exploits here at the end. We're not telling you when they happened or how they happened, but along the way, and it would have detracted from the point of what we were sharing earlier, but we got to share these last tidbits of good examples of David and his men. But they would have taken away from the rest of the bigger story we were trying to tell, so these are just thrown in at the end. But if you see this story in parallel with Uriah the Hittite, David has established for his men, we've seen a couple examples, but here as well, I will not take advantage of anything that my men cannot enjoy. So my men do not get to enjoy what's from the well. They risk their lives. I'm not going to do it, which is such a sharp contrast to how he behaves later towards Uriah the Hittite. So, but that's how Uriah is acting. Like, I'm not going to go and enjoy things because I'm to be at war with my men. I was longing for it. I was crying out for it, but I didn't want you to go risk your life for it. I just want us to have victory because that will be the thing I will savor at the end. So, Lou says, if David had made me get the water and throw it away after he asked for it, I might bonk him. Well, he doesn't ask for it. He doesn't ask for it. He's just crying out like, so it'd just be like someone saying, oh man, I really, really wish I had a Dr. Pepper. And there's none. So like you're out camping. Let's just say you're out camping somewhere and you're 50 miles from the store, right? And you just say, ah, man, I wish I had a Dr. Pepper. And your friend hikes, not gets in the car and drive, hikes to the store, buys you some Dr. Pepper, and brings it back to you. You didn't ask for it. You didn't demand it as the commander. You didn't order it. It was just a friend who said, yeah, I'll get that for you. I'll get that for you. No, let me go risk a little bit, and I'll bring one to you. Could you use Dr. Pepper as a drink offering? He uses water as a drink offering, which is interesting. He pours out the water as a drink offering. I think you can use anything as a drink offering from the standpoint of this is what I am going to enjoy, but I want to symbolically pour it out as an offering to God. Yeah, I think you can. Now, what I wouldn't do is do that in the sanctuary of a church and make a mess. I do it in a different place. We don't have a mechanism for pouring out drink offerings in most churches, but I think you can do that privately. Yeah, and I wanted to give you a special gift, and then you throw it away. The human in me. Yeah. I was just clarifying. He didn't ask them and then refused it. He made a suggestion, or he had a longing, and they did it. And yeah, I get I would be upset too. But he constantly has this heart for the bigger picture than himself. Well, in that case, it was a huge sacrifice. I think it tracks. Yeah. So he got something. He's going to willingly but he doesn't just like say, I don't want it. He pours it out to God. So, sis, I have never really given much thought to the drink offering in the Bible, but I guess water was really precious in the desert. Yeah, but usually the drink offering is wine. When the instructions are given to the people about bringing an offering. It's an offering of wine, is how it's described, to bring wine as a drink offering. This might be the only place where water is used as a drink offering, but I really, really like that. Because I think it connects us then to Jesus turning water into wine. And I've done communion before with a person who had an allergy to grapes. So they had never been able to fully participate in communion because of their allergy to grapes. Even that little bit, you often get in a cup would have been a problem. And this was at a retreat, so it wasn't the regular place, but we had a whole thing where we were going to focus on communion, and we found out the day before that they had an allergy, and we tried to see if we had a substitute that would be viable. And what we came up with and decided on is Jesus turned water into wine. We're going to use water for communion. Not just this one person, because then it's not communion because we're not all participating. Every single person that was there at the retreat had water for communion so that we were connected with one another. It was just so powerful, so powerful. I'm watching. Oh yeah, Saint Lucis. Considering some of the people might have been with him when he was fleeing Absalom for years, I would have taken this offense as pretty small in comparison. But yeah, probably was. I think this is possibly when he's fleeing from Saul more. But still, I think your point holds true. MJ, as David pours out life giving water in honor of the Father, so we pour out our life giving blood. Yes. Sis, next time I get cravings for chocolate, I might melt it and pour it out instead. MJ, from Jesus born in Bethlehem comes living water greater than the well of Bethlehem. Ooh, that's a great connection too. He is longing for water at the well of Bethlehem. Or actually, it's a cistern. The cistern of, it says, of Bethlehem. He's greater, and he's born in Bethlehem. He's the living water that comes from there. Like that. Yeah, that's a great connection. The Halfway Channel. Hey, welcome in. I never ever thought to find Bible streamers, actual pastors, or just a good Bible reading Christian. I'm an actual pastor. And others around on Twitch are as well. So, oh, hey, thanks for the sub. Thanks for the gifted sub, MJ. MJ is also a pastor. We met on Twitch, and we live just miles away from each other across the river. I'm on one side of the river and lake, he's on the other. So welcome in, Halfway Channel. And whether you're Christian or not Christian, you are welcome here. I do Bible reading Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Same bat time, same bat channel. And if you go to my Discord, there's a whole section where you can find other Christian streamers and a section with pastors. And I kind of have groups of other Christian streamers. You're the first. Oh, I appreciate it. Appreciate it. You're actually welcome. Absolutely welcome in here. Thanks, Lucis, for getting the Discord in there. So actually, you know what? I don't think I have it open right now. So, but I'll just pause right here. So ReachCon F down there. ReachCon F is a conference that is going to be held in September in Orlando. And there are about 50 social media. Most of us, I think, are Twitch. There's some people that might be TikTok only or YouTube or maybe even Facebook. But the ReachConf is happening in Orlando, and 50 of us are doing the Alpha course. You can see the different supporters in the bottom. We're doing Alpha course on stream. I'm doing that, and the last week will be next Tuesday at 4 EST. Will be the last of the 8 weeks we're doing, and then I'm going to start it over again in a different fashion. And I'm going to do like I'm still working it out, but I'll get ads or promos out over the weekend, I think, for that. We're going to do it in a quicker fashion, blazing through it. But Alpha is an introduction course to the Christian faith. And so we answer the questions of, who is Jesus? Why did he die? Is there more to life than this? What about the Holy Spirit? How can I pray? What about the Bible? So those are the questions we answer in that. Yes. Yes, you got the reach in there. Awesome. I'll always have time to listen to pastors and have conversations because, man, sometimes you just need it. You know, but since I'm doing late night shifts, I'm never up for the 11 a.m. service. Oh, well, you know what? Actually, if you are not up, and there are a couple of churches that are Twitch churches. So God Squad Church is the oldest church I know of. And they have their services, I believe, on Saturday afternoon. Lux Digital Church, and you can find these over on the Discord, or someone wants to shout them out. Lux Digital Church has a Wednesday night service that they have. And I know other Christians who are pastors who are online too that do Bible studies as well. There's a bunch of, I shouldn't say a bunch. there's a handful of us, and I have sought to find them. Thanks, Ukulele, for getting the shout out there. Yes, North Hill Live has a digital Sunday service on Thursday. Thank you. I'm watching people. I did not remember if he had a full service that was on Twitch or not. So.
_halfway_ channel just followed.
Hey, thanks for the follow, friend. And if you have more questions, the other thing too, while we're going through, let me slide that over. Oops, wrong thing. Well, it's gone. I was going to try to grab it. So I noticed the alignment. There we go. Then it'll be more visible. The objective here, though we're reading through the Bible in a year, let me just show you that. And I've got to get caught up on what we're doing. Let me show you last month. So we have a plan that we're following from the Bible app, but I have to fill it out on this so that you guys can all see it and follow along. So that's what we're doing on stream. And trying to read through the Bible in a year. We're a bit behind, but it's all good because we go on rabbit trails. We have other conversations. We want to be in community with one another. We want to support one another. We want to encourage one another. And sometimes whatever is happening in the passage is not as important. It's not as important. So, but I am a real pastor. I just am not currently serving at a church because I started a prayer booth in my local artisan market. And if you look down, I can never get my directions right. You look down over there, prayer booth. I'm raising funds for that to help pay for renting the space to be there. I'm there on Saturdays and Sundays, which is why I'm not working at a church right now, because starting that made it, well, not a lot of churches going to hire a pastor who doesn't work on Sundays. So, anyway, halfway. Appreciate you coming in. Thanks for being here. Hang out anytime. Hang out in the Discord. DM me. DM others. We're glad you're here. You're lurking, Ukulele. Appreciate you. Okay. Okay. Those are the exploits of the three warriors. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I just glanced at my my fish. I'm gonna go ahead and go there while we're interrupted. Those who came in later. One of the other things I like to do, and I really am contemplating getting this up full time, which today would have been a great day because the fish are spawning, it appears. I'll go ahead and turn the sound on again for those who weren't here earlier. I was totally distracted by this. I just saw really, really big waves and ripples going through, so I got distracted again. But it appears my fish are spawning, and I built that pond and the waterfall, which I need to get a little bit more of my rocks rearranged because I redid the waterfall. I could just sit here and watch this all day. That's not productive, but it sure is enjoyable. Here are the guppies that you can see behind me. And the reason for the color in there, I believe, is the chlorophyll that I've got actual live plants in there, and as the light of the sun has hit them, I think they just has made a green yellow hue on my water, like you might see a pond have. And here are the baby koi from maybe 6-8 weeks ago, and their growth. So they're getting bigger. They're getting bigger. And then here is the sunrise sunset cam at my mom's house. So just a quick tour around. Halfway. I think more churches need to start going to online spaces because it needs outreach, and most of the stuff online is insane. It's just hard to find a way to reach people to open their minds when it closes. Mine used to be, but due to experience, it brought me back. That is so awesome, friend. Yeah, they are growing fast, aren't they? I forgot to mention too. There are also some VR churches as well. So actually, if you want to check out what you're talking about there, and when we come back from watching the fish, I'll show you my shirt. I'm connected with what's called the Church.digital, and we are working to help people who feel like they need to connect in the digital space and be digital focused on reaching people, and you can build relationships. So we're helping people with that vision be able to do that, connect people, encourage people, and help with discipleship, among other things. So I hang out and encourage lots of people. Yeah. The problem, Ukulele says, with most churches, just put their service on our sermon online. They don't know how to meet people on the platforms and in online culture. No, they do not. They do not. But I will give them the benefit of the doubt on one thing, Ukulele, because I didn't understand this before COVID either. I was putting services, like I'd been live streaming services 10 years before COVID. But I wasn't trying to do it to reach people that were outside the church. I was only trying to provide a service for those people who were on vacation or went to Florida or down south for the winter and would be gone for 3 months to stay connected with their church family. So I knew you could have relationships. My problem was not realizing or not thinking about I could reach, because it's like, who's going to find us online? You know, if they're not searching and not looking. But now you've got platforms pushing you in front of people you don't know. Because as Facebook started, you were only supposed to like people and friend people you knew. You weren't supposed to go find strangers. So that has changed. And so now I see that totally different. All right. That's enough fish break, I think. Halfway. The churches here have online service, but they don't advertise. It gets maybe 2 online views. It always wanted to grow our local churches here, but they rely on old ways of communicating. Yes. I'm watching. Thanks for the hug. Okay. Let me turn this off, or we'll just sit here. I will be tempted to just sit and watch the fish all day. Oh, by the way, I know they're spawning by their activity and the foam on the top of the water there. That's my clues that they're doing that. I'm going to do this because I want to show you my shirt, because I got swag. So I got swag yesterday. So this right here is our logo for the Church Digital. So you can see it's like an 8-bit cross coming together or being sent out. Depends on how you look at it. And I'm just making sure that you can see the back of the shirt. So I had one yesterday on Discord, as it is in heaven, and then we've got one like we are trying to, and we feel like there has been a shift of people realizing over the last 2 years that you can, not everyone, but a shift in some seeing that you can have digital relationships and do ministry relationally online. They're seeing it's viable, they just don't know how to do it yet. So we're trying to help with that. Yeah, COVID had church learn really quickly about the online stuff. Yeah, I made the shift for it, because like I said, we'd had it online for years, of seeing, wait a minute, this isn't designed for the person at home. We made it available like you were peeking in on us, and I was like, that's not enough. So we shifted the design and all of those things. And then the other thing is, you need to hang out in digital space intentionally to learn. Like anybody that's going to be a Twitch streamer, you know, you have to act like that there are 20 people in your chat at all times when you start. You can't just sit here going, well, I'm going to wait till someone types something and then I'll respond. Somebody comes in, they watch you for 15 seconds, you say nothing, they move on to someone else because you're not doing anything, and they never show up in the count, so you never think anyone's there, and you miss them all. So you know, there are some learning curves that you need to have. I'm still on those learning curves. I mean, I'm not an expert. I just am hopefully open to willing to connect and grow and learn, and realize I don't know it all. and I'm not going to be the best, and I'm not supposed to be. Yeah, they learned the technical, but they're still learning the rest. Yeah, yeah. You think the power of physical presence is important, but you have to get the interest first. But God finds people in the most interesting ways. Yeah, yeah. Luckily, pastors are openly charismatic. Well, some of us might be. Not all of us are. I've known plenty of pastors. They are not charismatic at all. Yeah, yeah. Know that the quickness might not have depth. Yes. Yeah, it was more a matter of we've got to go online because the people aren't here, and then people aren't coming back. Well, they're just consuming. Well, they're just consuming in a easier manner if they were just consuming in the first place. They were just consuming on Sunday. Now they're just consuming on Sunday at home. You didn't have a relationship with them. You had their presence, but you didn't have a relationship. So, and the thing is it takes time, it takes connection, it takes hanging out together to get those things. So, I think Ukulele and I have now known each other for 3 years. It's got to be somewhere around there. We got to be like 3 years that we've known each other, and we're still getting to know each other. We've met IRL one time. That was pretty cool. I'll be down in Orlando in September. I don't know, Ukulele, if you're thinking about ReachCon or not, but anyone who is interested in going, I can get you free tickets. You'll have to get there. You'll have to find a place to stay, but I can get you free tickets to the conference. And there'll be, I don't know if every one of the 50 streamers are going to be there, but there'll be like 50 of us streamers who will be there. I'm watching to Sis. Twitch streaming is perfect for me because I'm always talking. I'm literally talking to myself for 25 minutes straight when I first start streaming. I would just laugh and forget I was laughing at, and I start a new subject. That is awesome. Yeah, something like 3 years. Yeah, I know, it's been great. MJ, I don't stream because I am boring as beige paint and I don't understand computers. I don't even think the things they do are possible. Yeah. Hap, hey, good to see you chiming in. I know you're lurking and working. I am so grateful, Zoom Church, because a thing when COVID happened, we still use when we're traveling and homesick or whatever. I used it a lot after my son was born. I feel being in person when I am able is important. Church is Christ's body. It is a family. But that said, I'm grateful for online resources and when I can be in person at my local church. Oh, we got an ad break snoozed for 5 minutes. Appreciate that. Okay. That was a long little segue on the side, but that was all good. That was all good. Let me find back this here. We'll have an ad break coming in. So, yeah, number of rabbit trails is 59. That is 59 this year. We started counting that this year, and I am sure that, whoo. Yeah, you snoozed it because we just saw the fishes. Yeah, appreciate that. Okay, bum bum bum. I wish there was a way to not only just snooze it, but say, nope, no ad this time. Come back in an hour. Because I have it set up every hour. Okay. It's also a reminder for me to stretch. Because otherwise I could sit here when I do long streams 3 hours and not get up. Which is not good. Okay. So we're just going again through list of exploits of warriors that were with David. Abishai, son of Zeruiah, the brother of Joab, was head of the 3. He killed 300 men with his spear and gained fame among the 3. From the 3, he was given honor, and he became their officer, even though he was not one of the 3. So we've got the 3, and then someone who elevated themselves above the 3. Benaiah, son of Jehoiah, was a brave warrior from Kabzeel, who performed great exploits. He struck down the 2 sons of Ariel of Moab. He also went down and killed a lion in a cistern on a snowy day. Like, that's a story. Why? What? He's going down and killing a lion that's in a cistern on a snowy day. He also killed an impressive-looking Egyptian. That guy's impressive-looking. The Egyptian wielded a spear while Benaniah attacked him with a club. He grabbed the spear out of the Egyptian's hand and killed him with his own spear. Such are the exploits of Benaniah, son of Jehoiada, who gained fame among the 3 elite warriors. He received honor from the 30 warriors, though he was not one of the 3 elite warriors. David put him in charge of his bodyguard. Yeah, I think that I would have that guy in front of my bodyguard too. Okay, that's just a manuscript discrepancy there. Yeah, talking about tech there. Native, awkward, but honest streamers are sometimes some of the best ones to watch. There's something organically pleasing about, and it jumped on me, about seeing somebody go for the goals, even if they feel unworthy, because people are always able to see something different in you than you see in yourself. That's cool. That's a very nice, insightful response. You've never found tech interesting and have no desire to stream. It takes a lot of effort, and you have other things you'd rather invest your time in. Well, and you know what? I don't think everyone's called to stream. I don't think everyone is called to stream at all. I didn't think I was, but now that I have been, I don't want to quit. So, okay. So we got a bodyguard. Included with the 30 were the following: Ashahel, the brother of Joab; Elhanah, son of Dodo, from Bethlehem; Shema, the Harodite; Elika, the Harodite; Helez, the Paltite; Ira, son of Ikesh, from Tokoa. Tokoa? I'm not sure how to say that one. Abizer, the Anathotite. Mabuni. Mabuni. That is a funny name. Mabuni. I'm sorry, that just rolls off the tongue in a fun way. Mabuni. I gotta go look it up. So, 2 Sam 23. Okay, 2 Sam. Are we in 23? Where are we at? Yeah, 23. 27. Mabuni. I do not know why that name is cracking me up. It is a fun name to say. And now I'm going to get told I'm pronouncing it wrong.
Strong's H 4012. Mevanai.
What? Mebonai? No, that's not as fun as Mabuni. Building of God. Mebonai. All right. Thank you, MJ. Certainly think you're called to this work. You do an awful lot of building the body of Christ in the internet universe and in our real life community. And yeah, I have people that, I understand all these things of making goals and finding your target audience and all those kinds of things. And I'm like going, that's not where I am. God has just called me to go do. So I'm not targeting anybody specifically. Like in the artisan market, I'm not targeting anybody specific. God said, go set up a prayer booth. I said, okay, I'll do that. Who am I targeting? The person that needs prayer. Who is that person? I don't know. When they come by, they say, hey, I need prayer. Then I know. I mean, that's it. That's not all I do. I'm there to listen, have conversations, do other things. Make the day better for people. But anyway, appreciate that. Thank you, MJ. So, Mebonai, the Hushatite. Zalman the Ahohite, Mahari the Netophathite, Helid, son of Baana the Nephathite, Attai, son of Rabbi from Gibeon in Benjamin, Benani the Parathonite, Hiddai from Wade. Oh my goodness, I am struggling with these words today. This is not normal. I'm usually good with these. Wadish of Gaash, Abi Alban the Abathite. It's all these thites that are just throwing me off. Arbathite. I'm used to the, like, genealogies are different because you're giving your father. Here you're giving their tribes. Here you're giving their tribes. Oh, it's going well. It's going well. Flat cap uses buckshot, not sniper. Yeah, that's exit. Yeah, I'm a buckshot. Yep. Giggles at the Bible names, goes to get meaning with correct pronunciation, laughs, and goes back to his way of pronouncing. Yep. Mabone. Yeah, Mabonai. Yeah. No, it's more fun my way. But, I might be saying something else. Who knows? Asmaveth. Yeah, Asmaveth. Okay. Another one. I'm going to go with Asmaveth is. Asmaveth. 31. Asmaveth.
Strong's H 5820. Asmaveth.
Strong unto death. There's my metal band name. Asmaveth. Strong unto death. So, like, you know what I should do? I should just take this list here and name my fish, this list of these 30 warriors that fought with King David. That's the name of my fish. That one right there, that's Asmaveth. The Barhamite. Eliab. The Shaalbanite. The sons of Jeshesh. Jonathan, wow, we have a name we can pronounce. Son of Shema, the Hararite. Ahiah, son of Sharar, the Hararite. Elphalet, son of Ahashbai, the Maakathite. Eliam, son of Ahithophel, the Gilonite. Hezrai, the Carmelite. Parari, the Arbite. Igel, son of Nathan, from Zobah. Bani, the Gadite. Zelek, the Ammonite. Nahara, the Beerothite, the armor-bearer of Joab, son of Zerai. Ira, the Ithrite. Gareb, the Ithrite. And Uriah, the Hittite. Altogether, there were 37. Boom! We got through that. I'm going to let the ad go in 3 minutes. Just letting you love the voices. All right, hey, Star Fox, welcome in. Oh, well, that would be the band I would be in. Would be not the Screamo band. Yeah, the deep metal Screamo voice. Yeah, that would be. Yep. Hubba Bubba Tribe. Well, I was struggling so bad today. Like all of these thites. Here's where I struggle. Okay, like right here, the A. It's too many vowels in a row. I can't pronounce that many vowels in a row. I know you can pronounce the I as a J, but it's just like, I don't know. They don't roll off my tongue. It's like, you know what, you grow up, you can pronounce things, you can do that. These are just so foreign. They don't roll off my tongue in any fashion, so I struggle. But we looked up a couple of them. We didn't look them all up. That would take a while to look up all 37. Uriah the Hittite. This list reinforces the fact that David put a war hero, celebrity, and national treasure to death to cover up his sin. Oh, that's a great point. I thought I was thinking that too, but I didn't mention it. Yeah, like the other thing is here, he's getting the honor that's due him here by being listed. Also, being listed last. Being listed last. He is the last one that's mentioned. I know often when you have a chiasm, you're pointing to the center. There's no chiasm here. He is like the three that everyone knows. I should just do one hand. The three that are most prominent, the three that are up there, the three big, and then the two others that are close to the big, and then some others, and then the 30, and Uriah the Hittite. 37 in all. 37. Yeah. You'll sometimes call these tribes the Millerites, the Budlites, and the Amstellites. I like that. I like that. I like what you did there. I like what you did there. All right, we got an ad coming in about 30. That's what it tells me. I know it sometimes is longer than that for you. How many chapters do we have? Do 2 more chapters. We're gonna get through them today. We're gonna get done with 2 Samuel today. That's what we're doing. Or the appetites. Taste great, less filling. The appetites. I wish we used ites, at the end of names. But we don't. All right, so ads coming. I'm gonna go to the pond again, just because they're having a fun day today out there, and I'm gonna stretch and feed the baby koi. I will have to say, Carmelites are I think, one of my favorite ones of the ites. The Carmelites! The Caramelites! However you want to say it. But yeah, if you're from Paris, are you a parasite? That is a nice joke. That's a nice joke. When I lived in Iowa, there were not as many Norwegians probably as when I lived in South Dakota, but I knew several, and I kindly referred to, this was not demeaning or degrading, but I kindly referred to Iowans. That's what I think how you call it, Iowans, as Iowegians, like Norwegians, the Iowegians. I thought it was more fun to say Iowegian than Iowan, but I really think it'd be fun. I'm from Michigan. If we were the Mitchites, I think that would be awesome if we were the Mitchites. But I like your joke. If you're from Paris, are you a parasite? I don't know. All right. It looks like they're slowing down a bit, so we'll get back to the Bible. Oh yeah, I could do that. There's one going around. Let me give you a few more. There you go. Have fun with those. Okay. What's interesting here, okay, we're going to get into something that displeases God. Well, we already had a story about David and Bathsheba. Did that not displease God? We already had a story about a famine that was the consequence of actions of King Saul. Did that not displease God? So I'm just saying, this whole David displeases God statement here, it's like, maybe not the best title. You said you believe they are spawning. Where do you plan to put the babies? Because you are going to need a bigger fish tank. I will have to have a separate fish tank. I couldn't put them in the same one. That would be too many. So I would, if I'm going to keep them, I'm going to have to do something else. So what I was thinking I might do was to take and build a container and then put one of those liners in it like you see out in the pond. Just put a pond liner in a square box that I would build, and then put pumps in it, because I've seen people do that for inside where they're growing fish. You're not like enjoying fish. So I was thinking maybe I would do that and create a fish nursery of some kind. So that's what I would do. It's like, if I'm going to do that, if I'm going to keep them, if I'm going to try to sell them, that'd be a thing I'd need to do. But good question. I don't have space for it right now. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what you do with the star points either, but you got them. So if I do that, it might be, then I will put the in pond cam in there, because I wouldn't be able to put it through the glass. So I haven't made a decision on that. That would be some money I have to spend. I don't have money to spend on that. But if it's an investment into, that's a thought I hadn't had. Oh, I say, if there's an investment into being a koi breeder, which frankly I would really like and enjoy, not on the level of, like with the big people who are breeding them, but just a low level. I have fish, and they're not certified with any credentials. They're just fish, and they're just natural, and they're whatever they become. They're not all of the different, because this is what you do if you're in the breeding game, is you get the purebred, and then this style you breed with that style, so you get more of that style. And I'm of the, let them all have at it, and let's see what nature does, what God creates, and I don't separate. So anyway, I'll have to have those conversations with my wife and figure out what I'm doing, if I'm doing anything. So then I'll have to get on, like I said, maybe I could get a small business loan and start a koi business. I don't know. That'll be a thought I'll have to take for seriously, I guess. Okay. The Lord's anger again raged against Israel, and he incited David against them, saying, "Go count Israel and Judah." Okay. Come on, I'm clicking on the one. Go to the footnote here. There we go. Okay. The parallel text in 1 Chronicle says an adversary opposed Israel, inciting David to count how many warriors Israel had. The Samuel version gives an underlying theological perspective, while the chronicler simply describes what happened from a human perspective. The adversary in Chronicles is likely a human enemy, probably a nearby nation whose hostility against Israel pressured David into numbering the people so he could assess his military strength. Okay, so we've just got an exploit of all the warriors that David had. That would make sense now that, this would be a test. This would be a test. So God's anger is against Israel, either because they're following, not following. Any verb or noun you can think of has its own niche internet community, like the fish breeder community, or Our World is Amazing. Yeah, yesterday I became aware of fire hydrant enthusiasts who exchange pictures of interesting fire hydrants. Wow, I know. I remember as a kid some very interesting fire hydrants that were one that sticks out. Still remember, it was painted like a Dalmatian. So it was really, really cool. I don't remember where it was, but okay. So, inciting David to go against them, saying, so the rage is coming against Israel, and David is, so this, what it sounds like, the people might be not believing they have strength, but rather than trusting in God and saying, God has us, which is what he normally does, he counts the army potentially in giving them, courage, or the people courage. The king told Joab, the general in command of his army, go throughout all the tribes of Israel from Dan to Beersheba and muster the army, so I may know the size of the army. Joab replied to the king, may the Lord your God make the army 100 times larger than right before the eyes of my lord the king. But why does my master the king want to do this? So look at Joab is asking the king why he wants to do it. Great, we're going to get insight then. But the king's edict stood despite the objections of Joab, the leader of the army. So Joab and the leaders of the army left the king's presence in order to muster the Israelite army. So he asks, but the king doesn't give an answer. Says, the order stands. Ooh, intrigue. They crossed the Jordan and camped near Arorar, on the south side of the city at the Wadi of Gad, near Jazer. Then they went on to Gilead and to the region of Totim Hadshi, coming to Danjan, or probably Jaan, and on around to Sidon. Okay, Sidon's up on the coast. They went from the fortress of Tyre, because Tyre and Sidon are there, up on the coast of the Med, and all the cities of the Hivites and the Canaanites, and they went on to the Negev of Judah. So now we're in the south. So they're in the north, now they're in the south. To Beersheba. They went through all the land, and after 9 months and 20 days, they came back to Jerusalem. What a weird statement. 9 months and 20 days. Okay, so let's just go. 3 times 9 is 27. I'm just rounding off to 30 for every month. 27. And then 20 days, 270. And then 20 days, 290 days. I don't know if that's significant or not. I don't know. I'm just 9 and 20. Let me see if there's anything in the footnote. Nope, that's just map locations. Okay. Joab reported the number of warriors to the king. In Israel were about 800,000 sword-wielding soldiers, and in Judah there were 500,000 soldiers. So notice this. Even in this book of Samuel, when they're not a divided kingdom, we're getting the numbers of where they're at, north or south. David felt guilty. The heart of David struck him. Yeah. His heart is all of a sudden, oh no. Oh no. After he had numbered the army, David said to the Lord, I have sinned greatly by doing this. No, O Lord, please remove the guilt of your servant, for I have acted very foolishly. When David got up in the next morning, the Lord's message had already come to the prophet Gad, David's seer. Go tell David, this is what the Lord has said. I am offering you 3 forms of judgment. Pick one of them and I will carry out against you. So David has been enticed to see what he has for strength. Okay? He's warned against it by his army official. Like, there's no value in this. Why do you want to know it? What is it about finding out? Let me see. 8 and 5 would be 1.3 million soldiers. Okay, and again, I don't think we need to take these numbers literally. There's a book coming out in 2026 that's going to look at the numbers. It's about numbers, the symbolic, massive, large numbers throughout the Old Testament. So I'm looking forward to that. It's not out yet, but I can't wait to see the research and the stories behind it, because they're researching outside of the Bible how these numbers are used symbolically and those things, and they're going to help with these weird large numbers like that. So anyway, I don't think we have to take them literally that it's 1.3 million soldiers. I don't think we have to. there's symbolism there, no matter what the numbers are, but I don't find any number connection there, so we'll just go on. But he's sinned. He's realized he's sinned. I don't know what hinted at him, but all of a sudden his heart sunk when he heard the numbers. Like, are they bigger than he thought? Wait. Let me go back. What was the thing that Joab said? What did he say? Your army be 100 times larger than larger. What if? What if he's added extra zeros 100 on here? What if he's done that? That makes total sense. May the number be 100 times larger than they currently are. What if he's put an extra double zero on here when they counted? They appeared larger. God made the numbers appear so large that this is 8,000 soldiers over here and 5,000 soldiers over here. That seems like it wouldn't take you 9 months to count them all. But 800,000 seems way big. 500,000 soldiers seems way big. I don't know. I'm just playing with that, seeing what it does, because of what's in the text. Okay. So we have David pick your punishment. I love this idea. Pick your punishment. Okay. God went to David and told him, shall 7 years of famine come upon your land, or, so 7 the number of completeness, or shall you flee for 3 months from your enemies with them in hot pursuit? Or, so we got 3, or shall there be 3 days of plague in your land? Now decide what I should tell the one who sent me. David said to Gad, I am very upset. I prefer that we be attacked by the Lord, for his mercy is great. I do not want to be attacked by human hands. Okay, so he's ruled out the famine, and he's ruled out the 3 months of enemies. Like, I don't want enemies pursuing me. I'll take God. And the way I see God doing punishment is by plague. But famine is the symbol of spiritual problem. So he doesn't want famine for 7 years. He's already dealt with famine for 3 years. He's like, just give us a plague. So the Lord sent a plague through Israel from the morning until the completion of the appointed time. 70,000 people died from Dan to Beersheba. 7 the number of completeness, multiplied by 10,000, a large significant number. I mean, the chances of it rounding out exactly to 70,000, I mean, okay. When the angel extended his hand to destroy Jerusalem, the Lord relented from his judgment. He told the angel who was killing the people, that's enough, stop now. Now the angel of the Lord was near the threshing floor of Araunah the Jebusite. So David said, I want God to act because God is merciful and God might relent. What happens? God acts, God is merciful, God relents. Okay, but we got to go look up Araunah. So we got 24. Verse 16. I'm using the New English Translation, the Net Bible. The blue letter is KJV, but that's what it just gives you as default. I can show you that in just a second. Araunah, the Jebusite. Sometimes the names sound like Jebusite, sounds like a stone.
Strong's H728. Aravna.
During the threshing floor of I shall shout for joy. The Lord was near the threshing floor of I shall shout for joy, the Jebusite. See, this is why you look up names. Why why is the guy and why is this here? Because the killing has stopped and I shall shout for joy. Oh, that's so good. Okay, so let me do this a second. I'll pull, wrong thing. I often do that. Okay. There you can see it's Net Bible, which is the New English translation. So it's just netbible.org. And the reason I switched to using this one is all the footnotes that they have over here on the side to be able to take and look up as you're going through the text. This also gives me a side-by-side, so when I cut and edit vertical videos, it's got me in the top and then that on the bottom, so that it works good in making videos. Clips, that is. But good question. So the Net Bible, New English translation, was designed to be an internet Bible, and then people wanted to get copies of it. So they do have print versions of it that are like really thick, leather-bound things, because it's like they're not looking to publish it, but people want it. So they're making it a really pristine Bible that looks great when you're carrying it around. So the temple is built on this threshing floor where the Lord stopped the punishment and began to show mercy, if I recall correctly, I should say. I know it is a threshing floor. I don't remember if it's this one, but I do know that there is a threshing floor that David would not take as a gift because he wasn't going to take a gift to give it as a gift to God. So he paid for it. So this might be the one. You're right. It might be the one. I do not remember precisely. When he saw the angel who was destroying the people, David said to the Lord, "Look, it is I who have sinned and done this evil thing. As for these sheep, what have they done? Attack me and my family." So, like, hey, I'll take the punishment in my family. You don't need to have my servants or the people. Yeah, don't gift things to God. Interesting teaching. I know, isn't that though? Like, this was given to me, it cost me nothing. To give it away, it cost me nothing. Which should almost go counter to the pouring out earlier of the water that cost David nothing to receive it, but he pours it out rather than drink it. So I don't know that that is always the necessary way to appreciate that. Because in the other case, he was pouring it out rather than taking it for himself. It was, I don't deserve this, given the current circumstances. Rather than me receive the gift, I'm giving it to God directly. Here in the other case, where the threshing floor, he is seeking to give to God. And the person says, well, I'll just give it to you. And it's like, no, I'm trying to give it to God. If you just give it to me, then you're the one giving it to God. I want to be the one giving it to God. So I think there's a slight difference or nuance there from earlier. But yeah, I think you're on that. Yeah, don't re-gift to God. So Gad went to David that day and told him, "Go up and build an altar for the Lord on the threshing floor." Maybe we're going to get the story here. What was it called again? I shall shout for joy. So go build an altar on the threshing floor of I shall shout for joy. So David went up as Gad instructed him to do, according to the Lord's instruction. When I shall shout for joy, looked out and saw, okay, we're getting the story there, saw the king and his servants approaching him. He went out and bowed to the king with his face to the ground. I shall shout for joy to the Lord, said, "Why has the Lord the king come to his servant?" David replied, "To buy from you the threshing floor so I can build an altar to the Lord, so that the plague may be removed from the family." Oh, from the people, sorry. I shall shout to the Lord. I shall shout for joy to the Lord, told David. My lord the king may take whatever he wishes and offer it. Look, here is an ox for burnt offerings and a threshing sledge and harnesses For what? I, the servant of my lord the king, give it all to the king. I shall shout for joy to the Lord also, told the king. May the Lord your God show you favor. But the king said, I shall shout to the Lord for joy. No, I insist on buying it from you. I will not offer to the Lord my burnt offering sacrifices that cost me nothing. I think there's the key. A burnt offering sacrifice. This is a thing that God has called me to do in order to end a plague. So I think there's part of the key. There's part of the key. It's the reason he's doing it. Okay, so David bought the threshing floor and the oxen for 50 pieces of silver. Then David built an altar to the Lord there and offered burnt sacrifices and peace offerings. We forget there's more offerings and peace offerings, shalom offerings. And the Lord accepted prayers for the land, and the plague was removed from Israel. So the angel is holding back, not going to go do it. David is acting. The messenger of God, the prophet of God, is going to David so that he can provide the way for the atonement, if you will, the offering for the sin to restore the order and end the plague. And so ends 2 Samuel. But he hasn't died yet, so we'll keep reading. We'll keep reading on David, because I want to finish through David before we jump over to going back to the book of Acts. So I didn't plan on starting 1 Kings today, but so if you want to know a good way to remember it, 1 Samuel is about Samuel and about Saul's reign. Yes, David is in 1 Samuel. 2 Samuel is about David's reign. 1 Kings begins as David dies and as Solomon becomes king. Now, the other thing is, all four, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, all four books were originally one book. They got divided into different scroll lengths, but it's really one story woven together from beginning to end. So we really could go 1 Samuel, 1st, 2nd, 3rd Kings. We could do that. We could actually call it that way. But anyway, so Kings is about the Davidic line. 2nd Samuel is about Saul. So we could have had Samuel, Saul, David, Kings. We could have named them that way too. Oh, a little tanker redeemed blessing. All right, let's do that. Let's do that. Welcome in. Good to see you, friend. How you been? How you been? It's been a while, it seems like. May God's seeking comfort find you. May his loving arms bind you. May his might protect you. May his wisdom direct you. May the joyous love of Jesus Christ be with you and all those you know, both now and forevermore. Amen. Thank you, little tanker. Appreciate you. Yeah, in Jesus' name, amen. I like that, Jesus. Whose is that? Stacy. DJ Stacy Blessed. All right. King David was okay. Amen. I'm good. You got married on Tuesday. That's an unusual day to get married on. Why did you choose Tuesday? Was it the date? Was it 6/18? Was that an important date for you? Yes, congrats, by the way. Congrats, by the way. Did you have any kind of like marriage prep courses that you did, little tanker? Because one thing I'm contemplating is doing a marriage course online. I've got material that I like doing. Pastor G also does that. And so I don't know if I've done it online before, but I thought about doing it. Thought about doing it. You did some with your local church? Good. Good. Anyway, the one reason what I do I really like is because it's designed for you and your spouse to have all the conversations, whether it's marriage preparation or it's a marriage like you're already married. It's designed for the two of you to have conversations rather than for you to answer questions for me as the pastor, because I won't be there in your house on a daily. The two of you will. So the two of you need to be the ones communicating, not you communicating good answers to me. By the way, I'm doing a wedding tomorrow. Which is supposed to be an outdoor wedding. So when I get done with streaming today, I'll be working on prepping my message and all of that stuff. So, okay. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate that. That's awesome. You know what? If I do a marriage thing, I think I'll wait till summer's over. I don't think I'll do it in the summer. I think I will wait till I'm done with the prayer booth and then maybe do it. But I hope you get fed well with the choices of wedding grub. Sometimes they're pretty spectacular. They can be. This is more of a low key beach wedding, so I don't know what food will be, but I will not know, like, I will know next to anyone at the wedding. So after the wedding, I'll stick around a little bit for the beginning of the ceremonies or the celebration stuff afterwards and the food, and then I'll make my way home. So, but yes, whatever there is, I will enjoy. All right, beginning 1 Kings. King David was very old. What does the footnote say? Yeah, outdoor weddings. This won't be my first outdoor wedding. Actually, the first wedding I ever did was an outdoor beach wedding for my brother. So let me technically give you the deets on that. My brother went to the justice of the peace in the courthouse and got married while he was in college and told no one. He was not living in the city where his girlfriend was at. So they got married. They went back to school. And then she was pregnant. And then the families find out what's going on because they got married over spring break. And then she's pregnant. And they're like, no, we're married. So they just did a service on the beach. I was in seminary. Her brother was in seminary. The two of us married with a ceremony, but we didn't sign any wedding licenses or any of those things because it was already done. So it was just a ceremony on the beach wedding. So, my son, his wedding was a beach wedding. Little Tanker, you're in Michigan? How far north or south? My son's wedding was in Muskegon. My brother's wedding was up in Pellston. So, and I'm in Montague. Did anyone sing Kokomo? No. My brother and his wife wanted it at sunset, which, that's fun to time it. No, boo. We're in Michigan. We're not singing Kokomo. I understand the sentiment, but yeah, it's the wrong beach. It's the wrong beach. Okay. It was beautiful. Oh, you're in Wisconsin. You're on the other side of the lake. I didn't think you were in Michigan. That makes sense. Sorry, you said Lake Michigan. My brain is just going right here. You're on the other side, Little Tanker. Yeah, the breeze off the lake was amazing. Oh, I bet. You wouldn't get a sunset then. You wouldn't get a sunset. Okay. Well, cool. Okay. King David was very old. Coming into the days. That's a fun way of saying old. Coming into the days. Even when they covered him with blankets, he could not get warm. His servants advised him, a young virgin might be found for the master the king to take care of the king's needs. The service of his nurse She can also sleep with you and keep our master the king warm. So they looked through all Israel for a beautiful woman and found Abishag. Abishag? I'm going to have to look that up. A Shunammite. Who else was a Shunammite? Later on, the Shunammite woman connected with Elijah or Elisha. Can't remember which. And brought her to the king. The young woman was very beautiful. She became the king's nurse and served him, but the king was not intimate with her. So they want to clarify this. Did not know her. It's a euphemism for having relations. Don't bite your tongue. Abishag. So that's verse 3. I'm probably not saying Abishag right. Ooh, it says damsel here. Damsel.
Strong's H49. Avishag. Avishag.
Okay, he's making the B sound more like a V, but I'm pretty close on that. Abishag. My father is a wanderer. My father is a wanderer. Yeah, very close. My father is a wanderer. That's weird. So they go looking for, oh, I believe also one of Job's friends was a Shunammite. So, okay. What's weird to me on this story, right? He has lots of wives. Why do they not pick, Papa was a Rolling Stone. Why do they not pick one of the wives? My only assumption is, if they pick one of the wives to come in and care for King David, the other wives are going to fight over the fact that they didn't get chosen. They didn't get selected. And whoever they would pick as a wife would be elevated, and their sons elevated to being the heir. How about we do it a different way? How about we just have David decide who's going to be the heir, and the mom of that son gets to come take care of you. But this is also pointing out this is not a sexual in for any reason. That's not what they're doing here. It is actually caring for him as an old man. That's all it is. It's nothing more, but it's still kind of weird story. Okay. Now Adonijah, son of David and Haggith, was promoting himself, boasting, "I will be king." He managed to acquire chariots and horsemen, as well as 50 to serve as his royal guard. Now his father had never corrected him by saying, "Why do you do such things?" He was also very handsome and had been born right after Absalom. She gave birth to him after Absalom. Okay. So, same mom as Absalom. That's the point here. You just want a warm body pillow for the king. Noted. Yes. that's kind of it. But also, I think she's caring for other needs too, like bathing and cleaning and some of those kinds of things. But anyway, so David, so remember the pattern here with the children of David. David does not take action against, what's the one, not Absalom, the other one, that, Amnon. He doesn't take action when Amnon does something wrong. He doesn't take action when Absalom does something wrong. Now Adonijah is doing something wrong, and he doesn't take action. David towards his children is inaction, and bad things happen because dad's hands off. Now maybe it's because he's never home, he's out warring, he has too many wives, and he doesn't have relationships with his kid, so he doesn't know how to be dad to them. I'm guessing that's part of it. Okay. He collaborated with Joab, son of Zeruiah, and with Abiathar, the priest, and they supported him. Oh, this guy knows what's going on, Abijah does. I get the head of the army general, and I get the head of the priest on me. I have military power, and I have God on my side. But Zadok the priest, Benaniah, son of Jehodai, Nathan the prophet, we have a priest and a prophet, Shammai, Rai, and David's elite warriors did not ally themselves with Adonijah. Ooh, so the elite warriors aren't on that side. Adonijah sacrificed sheep, cattle, and fatted steers at the stones of Zoheleth near Enrogel. He invited all his brothers, the king's son, as well as all the men of Judah, the king's servants. But he did not invite Nathan the prophet, Benaniah, the elite warriors, or his brother Solomon. This is weird. This is weird. What happened before when Absalom had a party? He kills his brother. That's what happened at the last party. I'm watching, says Toulouse says, maybe David was just tired of all the family strife. He's old. He's worn out. He just wants to live the rest of his life in peace. Then again, I'm surprised a prophet didn't come and pop him in the back of his head and say something along the lines of, dude, don't leave the earth loose strings. Yes. Correct your kids. Yep. We don't have that happen like happens with Eli and Samuel. We don't have that. We do have prophets that come to David, but nothing to deal with his family. Only on the level of his sin with Bathsheba. That's the only place. Okay. What's interesting here is I thought David already knew that his son Solomon was supposed to be king. Nathan said to Bathsheba, Solomon's mother, has it been reported to you that Haggith's son Adonijah has become king behind your master David's back? Okay, so here's the problem. David's not dead. His son is usurping him. He's not dead yet. Yeah, he's in bed. Yeah, he's going to die. You could wait. You could wait. Now, let me give you some advice as to how you can save your life and the life of your son Solomon's life. Visit King David and say to him, my master, O king, did you not solemnly promise your servant, surely your son Solomon will be king after me? He will sit on my throne. So why has Adonijah become king? While you are still there speaking to the king, I will arrive to verify your report. So this is interesting. Nathan the prophet is the one who spoke about the child who would die and confronted David about the sin. He's not on the side of Adonijah, who's usurping. Why is he not speaking out against him publicly and stuff? I'm just curious as to the way this is unfolding. Well, there was the proclamation God gave about there being drama in his family because of his sin with Bathsheba, and the soil would always be, the sword, would always be with his family or turn against this family or something like that. Yeah, you're right, there is. I guess it applies to his sons chasing after him with the sword too. Maybe I might need to do more study. You're right, but you know what? Maybe that's why he fails to take action, is because of his fear that he will cause it to happen, or it will be stirred up if he does. So rather than stir that up and cause more problems, he chooses to not act. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Good thought. Okay. So Bathsheba visited the king in his private quarters. The king was very old, and Abishag, the Shunammite, was serving the king. We got to remember, she's there. Abishag is there. Bathsheba bowed down to the floor before the king. The king said, "What do you want?" She replied to him, "My master, you swore an oath to your servant by the Lord your God, Solomon your son will be king after me, and he will sit on my throne. But now look, Adonijah has become king. But you, my master the king, are not even aware of it. He has sacrificed many cattle, steers, and sheep, and has invited all the king's sons, Abiathar the priest, and Joab, the commander of the army, but he has not invited your son Solomon. Now, my master, O king, all Israel is watching anxiously to see who is named to succeed my master the king on the throne. If, if a decision is not made when my master the king is buried with his ancestor, my son Solomon and I will be considered state criminals. That's an interesting translation. Will be guilty, considered offenders, treated as traitors. Yeah. Interesting how they say David was a man after God's own heart, but he tended to do a lot of things out of his own wisdom and didn't always consult God first. I guess that's a good example of why we shouldn't put men on pedestals, but God. Men will fall sometimes. Yes. The other thing, too, is there are times where he does consult God. What we don't always know is, or what we should say is, when he's doing those consultings, he's going to priests to go to God on his behalf, is what we see when he's doing military fighting. Maybe he didn't have an understanding within family dynamics to go to God with those. Maybe he just didn't have a full understanding or a full expression of those, or those weren't things you went to the priest with. Maybe it's a division between those two. That when he acted as serving God, he inquired. When it was serving his family, he didn't. I don't know. It's a good observation. Just then, while she was still speaking to the king, Nathan the prophet arrived. The king was told, Nathan the prophet is here. Nathan entered and bowed before the king with his face to the floor. Nathan said, My master, O king, did you announce that Adonijah will be king after you? He will sit on my throne? For today he has gone down and sacrificed many cattle, steers, and sheep, and has invited all the king's sons, the army commanders, and Abiathar the priest. At this moment they are having a feast in his presence, and they have declared, Long live King Adonijah! But he did not invite me, your servant, or Zadok the priest, or Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, or your servant Solomon. Has my master the king authorized this without informing your servants? Who should succeed my master the king on the throne? Hey, what's going on? What's going on? King David responded, Summon Bathsheba. So apparently she's left the room as Nathan came in to verify, but it said while she was still speaking. Yeah, not clear. She came and stood before the king. Maybe it's just more of summon her into my presence. Like Nathan came in, she backed out of the, I don't know. Or they passed as she was leaving, he came in. Anyway, the king swore an oath, as certainly as the Lord lives, he who has rescued me from every danger. I will keep today the oath I swore to you by the Lord God of Israel. Surely Solomon your son will be king after me. He will sit in my place on my throne. Bathsheba bowed down to the king with her face to the floor and said, May my master, King David, live forever. Okay, what's interesting here is it's Nathan who orchestrates this. This is not a mother like we see with James and John. It's not a mother going and trying to get this for her son. This is a prophet who goes and says, I know the promise the king made, and it's not being followed. Here's how we need to make this happen. King David then summoned Zadok the priest, Nathan the prophet, and Benaiah, son of Jehoiada. They came before the king, and he told them, Take your master's servants with you, put my son Solomon on my mule, and lead him down to Gihon. Okay, so the new king, is going to be riding on a mule. Does that remind you of anything? Riding on a donkey? I'm not sure why they keep saying mule here. I thought, well, anyway, maybe it's the Hebrew word differentiates between mule and donkey. But they seem to, in this translation, always pick mule. Anyway, there's Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet will anoint him king over Israel. Then blow the trumpets and declare, Long live King Solomon. Then follow him up as he comes and sits on my throne. he will be king in my place. I have decreed that he will be ruler over Israel and Judah. Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, responded to the king, so be it. May the Lord God of my master the king confirm it. As the Lord is with my master the king, so may he be with Solomon, and may he make him an even greater king than my master King David. Hey, Spartan, the bot is alive and working this morning. Hey, appreciate it. Yeah, I didn't realize that that bot was one that you had to host, and so without it, that DC4C command did not work. But now we can do it. There we go. So, I don't know all the commands that the bot does. Are there more commands, Spartan, that the DC4C? I don't know what else to call it. Yeah, DC4C bot does. Yeah, I'm the weird early one. Oh, DC4C crew. There we go. So you can go check out the lifetime members. I'm waiting on my swag. I'm waiting on my swag to do an unboxing. Oh, Discord, yeah. If you want to get on the Discord. So it's a separate Discord from my Discord. Cool. Okay, awesome. King David said, summon Zadok the priest, Nathan the prophet, Benaniah. Oh, wait, did I just read that? Oh, yeah. Sorry. I didn't scroll up after I finished reading that. Oh, yeah, give. Oh, that's awesome. Didn't know we had that. So Zadok the priest, Nathan the prophet, Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, the Kerethites and the Pelethites, went down, put Solomon on King David's mule, and led him to Gihon. Zadok the priest took a horn filled with oil, olive oil, from the tent and poured it on Solomon. The trumpet was blown, and the people declared, "Long live King Solomon!" All the people followed him up, played the flutes, and celebrated so loudly they made the ground shake. That's some celebration. Oh, yeah. I knew it was a full nonprofit with tax deduction status. I just did not know we had a giving donation page set up. I must have missed that somewhere. That might be a thing to Spartan to go in the Discord and put, here's a list of commands in the Discord, because I don't know if everyone else knows the list of commands either. Now Adonijah and all his guests heard the commotion just as they had finished eating. Yeah, that's one heck of a celebration, isn't it? Shaking the ground. But if you've ever been at a concert, like when people are partying and jumping up and down at a concert, yeah, the ground could shake from that too. When Joab heard the shout of the trumpet, they asked, "Why is there so much commotion in the city?" As he was still speaking, Jonathan, son of Abiathar, the priest, arrived. Adonijah said, "Come in, for an important man like you must bring good news." Jonathan replied to Adonijah, "No, our master King David has made Solomon king." The king sent him with Zadok the priest, Nathan the prophet, Benani, son of Jehoiada, the Kerethites, the Pelethites, and they put him on the king's mule. Then Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet anointed him king in Gihon. They went up from there rejoicing, and the city is in an uproar. That is the sound you hear. Furthermore, Solomon has assumed the royal throne. The king's servants have even come to congratulate our master King David, saying, "May your God make Solomon more famous than you, and make him an even greater king than you." Then the king leaned on the bed and said, "The Lord God of Israel is worthy of praise, because he has placed a successor on my throne, and allowed me to see it. All of Adonijah's guests panicked. They jumped up and rushed off their separate ways. Adonijah feared Solomon, so he got up and went and grabbed hold of the horns of the altar. Okay, let me see what the footnote says here. Okay, good, they're going to tell us. Grabbed hold of the horns of the altar. The horns of the altar were the horn-shaped projections on the four corners of the altar. By going to the holy place and grabbing the horns of the altar, Adonijah was seeking asylum from Solomon. So I want to live. I'm looking for forgiveness. Solomon was told, look, Adonijah fears you, so he has taken hold of the horns of the altar, saying, may King Solomon solemnly promise me today that he will not kill his servant with the sword. Solomon said, if he is a loyal subject, not a hair on his head will be harmed, but if he is found to be a traitor, he will die. King Solomon sent men to bring him down from the altar. He came and bowed down to King Solomon, and Solomon told him, go home. Oh, you're thinking of the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant, you're not supposed to... this is the horns of the altar. The altar is not the Ark of the Covenant. So this is where the animals are... the blood and portions of the animals are placed on. It's not where the slaughter happens, but the animals are put on, and the horns had blood put on them. So there's a horn on each of the four corners. That's why I'm doing this. So you grab a hold of that horn where the offerings are sacrificed to God. It is, I'm coming before God. I'm humbling myself. So this is how you would, if you're in Jerusalem, or I should say in Jerusalem now, but if you were where the tabernacle was, you could go into the altar and you could plead on the altar for your life to be spared. That's the process they had. We went over that way back, I want to think, in either Exodus or Leviticus. So it's been a while. Not everyone's going to remember that. That's the four horns, which is different than the ark. Yeah, you're not to touch the ark. The ark is in the Holy of Holies, where only the priest goes in once a year. Or maybe it's right outside the Holy of Holies. I don't remember precisely. I don't want to misspeak. Okay, go home. Okay, we got David's final words. I just want to get through David's death. That's all I'm looking to do. When David was close to death, he told Solomon his son, I am about to die. Be strong and become a man. Ooh, the ark represents intimacy with God. I think you could look at it that way. I think what we often refer to it as, it's where the presence of God resides. But that would be intimacy with God, yeah. Do the job the Lord your God has assigned you by following his instructions and obeying his rules, commands, regulations, and laws as written in the law of Moses. Then you will succeed in all you do and seek to accomplish. And the Lord will fulfill his promise to me. If your descendants watch their steps and live faithfully in my presence with all their hearts and being, then he promised, you will not fail to have a successor on the throne of Israel. So, it's a dependent clause. If you do this, you'll have someone on the throne. If they fail to do this, they can lose it. It's if-then. We think about it as a covenant, and we think about unconditional or conditional. Okay, this is a conditional covenant. The being on the throne is conditional from the standpoint of physical person on the throne. Unconditionally, Jesus is the one on the throne. So that's making, if you're trying to think through, so we do not need to literally have a physical person and a restoration of kingship in Israel. There's some people that want to restore Israel to all this stuff and make sure they have the promised land and all that stuff. I think that's misguided. Those were conditional. The land was conditional. Yes, there was the promise to Abraham that it would be given to his descendants, and it was. So that was fulfilled. The descendants chose to act against God, and they lost it. Okay. You know what Joab, son of Uriah, did to me? How he murdered 2 commanders of Israel's army, Abner, son of Ner, and Amasa, son of Jether. During peacetime, he struck them down as if, bum, 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 as if in battle. When he shed their blood, he stained the belt of his waist and the sandals of his feet. Ooh, that's interesting. What does that mean? That is, he covered himself with guilt. His guilt was obvious for all. So, oh, yeah, okay, I got it. I just thought they were going to give me more to that euphemism. So, they did not. Do to him whatever you think is appropriate, but don't let him live long and die a peaceful death. Okay, so, Solomon, there's some justice that needs carried out. I was not able to carry out this justice. But the guilt is there. Everyone knows the guilt. You need to take care of this, or you'll have problems. And I don't want him to die peaceful, man. He was not a peaceful man. He was a military man. He needs a military death. Treat fairly the sons of Barzillai of Gilead and provide for their needs, because he helped me when I fled from your brother Absalom. So he's giving instructions of, how do you treat this person? How do you treat that person? These are things of state he's passing on. Note well, you still have to contend with Shimei, son of Gera, the Benjamite from Bahurim, the guy that was calling curses on him, who tried to call down upon me a horrible judgment when I went to Mahanaim. He came down and met me, oh, he's going to tell him the whole thing, at the Jordan and solemnly promised, this is a relative of Saul too, promised him by the Lord, I will not strike you down with the sword. But now, don't treat him as if, bum, 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 as if he were innocent. You're a wise man, and you know how to handle him. Make sure he has a bloody death. So I made a promise to God I wouldn't do it. I didn't make a promise to God that I couldn't have someone do it after I was dead. Bring his gray hair down to in blood to Sheol. Hey, Temple Snell, welcome in. David keeps receipts from the grave. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Then David passed away and was buried in the city of David. David reigned over Israel 40 years. He reigned in Hebron 7 years and in Jerusalem 33 years. I got an ad break coming in. And I got a phone call. Okay, it's just the pharmacy telling me. I figured that's what it was. Okay, ad break ends. So if you're here on the ad break, let me go over. If you're not, we'll be good. So we got the fish in the pond are spawning. Now the shade is on them. It's harder to see. So let me back up a little bit. Look at all that foam all over. If you were here earlier, you can see how much more foam is in there, and you can still see they're circling around. They are circling around in there. So, all right, we should be coming back from the ad break. And why Streamlabs or Stream Deck you're not working? I don't know why that does that every once in a while. He will never stop loving Gail for the Navy Credit Union commercials. All right. Skirt. Yeah. You said that, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about until I finally saw the commercial. Like, that's just so bizarre to me. Skirt. I don't understand. I don't understand. Anyway, so David has passed away. So 2 people of instruction. One, his military commander who sinned. The other, descendant of Saul, who sinned against him. But he didn't even have to act about his brother, or Solomon's brother. He's already acted against him and sent him away. It came from a rap. Okay. I'm not gonna know musical references from this century, so that's just reality. Okay. Solomon sat on his father's David throne and had royal authority, was firmly solidified. Let me just see how long this chapter is. Oh, it's a little longer than I was thinking to go. That's all right. We'll keep going. The action she takes when saying it basically alludes to swerving on the road and these screechy noises cars make when you do that. Yeah, I got that, but I would not have said skirt, skirt. That's the weird thing to me. You know, but, you know, different countries, or I should say different languages, give animals different noises too. Like, you know, I'm used to oink oink for a pig in a children's book. Well, different countries don't put oink oink. They type, you know, different things and spell them out. So I get that. So, okay, Solomon sat on his father's David throne and had royal authority, was firmly solidified. Haggith's son Adonijah visited Bathsheba, Solomon's mother. She asked, "Do you come in peace?" He said, "Yes." He added, "I have something to say to you." She replied, "Speak." He said, "You know that the kingdom was mine, and all Israel considered me king, but then the kingdom was given to my brother, for the Lord decided it should be his. Now I'd like to ask you for just one thing. Please don't refuse." She said, "Go ahead and ask." He said, "Please ask King Solomon if, if he would give me Abishag the Shunammite as a wife, for he won't refuse you." Bathsheba replied, "That's fine. I'll speak with him on your behalf." Oh, snap. I know what he's after. Mom don't see it, but I maybe doesn't see it. Doesn't think it matters. But okay. Roosters sound exactly like cock-a-doodle-doo. He doesn't quite know how with his brother is, does he? Yeah, quite know how wise his brother is, does he? Yeah, well, no, it doesn't, like, maybe mom does know what this means, but maybe she's like, "You're dumb enough to ask. I'll let the king know your dumb request." So if you're not sure what this is, how do you usurp power? You usurp power, or you claim power by sleeping with, this is what Absalom did. He slept with the concubines. That was an act of claiming power and disgracing. So he's going to go ask for the Shunammite so that he can have the concubine of, so this will claim him power, because this was the final wife, so to speak. Although we know more, that she wasn't actually the wife of. She was just the nurse of. David's kids are messy, most of them. Oh yeah, well, the ones that get in the stories are messy. The ones that probably were fine, we don't know anything about them. So Bathsheba visited King Solomon to speak to him on Adonijah's behalf. The king got up to greet her, bowed to her, and then sat on his throne. This is kind of cool. The king is bowing to his mother. He ordered a throne to be brought for the king's mother, and she sat at his right hand. Okay, we don't know the age. I mean, there's probably somebody who's calculated it out. But the king's mother is given a place of prominence. We don't know that he's married yet. She said, "I would like to ask you for just one small favor. Please don't refuse me," he said. "Go ahead and ask my mother, for I would not refuse you." She said, "Allow Abishag the Shunammite to be given to your brother Adonijah as a wife." King Solomon answered his mother, "Why just request Abishag the Shunammite for him? Since he is my older brother, you should also request the kingdom for him, for Abiathar the priest, and for Joab son of Zeruiah." King Solomon swore an oath by the Lord, "May God judge me severely if, if Adonijah does not pay for this request with his life. So he said, if you are not a traitor, you can live. This is an act of treason. I know that seems really weird, but this is a claim to the throne. This is a claim to power, to have her as a wife. Now, as certainly as the Lord lives, he who made me secure allowed me to sit on my father's throne and establish a dynasty for me as he promised. Adonijah will be executed today. King Solomon then sent Benaiah and Jehoiada, and he killed Adonijah. This smells of sarcasm all through that statement. Oof. So he's trying to usurp Solomon by this seemingly innocent request. It is not an innocent request. It is outright treason. Solomon is wise enough to know what it is. He already warned Adonijah, don't do anything and you'll live. If you just are a faithful servant, this is not a faithful servant. This is usurper. The king then told Abiathar the priest, go back to your property in Anathoth. You deserve to die, but today I will not kill you because you did carry the ark of the sovereign Lord before my father David, and you suffered with my father through all the difficult times. Solomon removed Abiathar from being a priest of the Lord, fulfilled the Lord's message that he had pronounced against the family of Eli in Shiloh. Okay, so Abiathar, I believe, was a grandson of Eli. And there was the promise that Eli's family line would become destitute. They would become not part of the priestly line. And so now Solomon is carrying it out. We should remember this from back in 1 Samuel. This is a long time ago, but we should remember it from back then. And we're being reminded of it. God didn't forget. Solomon is carrying this out. When the news reached Joab, for Joab had supported Adonijah, although he had not supported Absalom, he ran for the tent of the Lord and grabbed hold of the horns of the altar. So now Joab realizes the gig is up. I need to go ask and plead for mercy. When King Solomon heard that Joab had run to the tent of the Lord and was right there beside the altar, he ordered Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, go strike him down. When Benaiah arrived at the tent of the Lord, he said to him, the king says, come out. But he replied, no, I will die here. So the king says, come out. But he replied, no, I will die here. So Benaiah sent word to the king and reported Joab's reply. The king told him, do as he said, strike him down and bury him. Take away from me and from my father's family the guilt of Joab's murderous, bloody deeds. Okay, so why is this an important thing to do? He is taking care of the sins of the previous regime, which David had to do when there was a famine. So David learned that lesson. He passed on the responsibility of caring and taking care of these deeds to his son. So he's working on that, which is interesting that the reply of Joab is no, kill me here. Joab doesn't want to go into exile. He came here to grab the horns, not to plead for mercy, but to actually plead for his death. That's fascinating. That's a warrior. Like, that's a guy that just knows war. He wouldn't understand really being peaceful. May the Lord punish me for the blood he shed. Behind my father David's back, he struck down and murdered with the sword 2 men who were more innocent and more upright than he. Abner, son of Ner, commander of Israel's army, and Amasa, son of Jether, commander of Judah's army. So notice this, son of Israel's army, commander of Israel's army, commander of Judah's army. We're still getting kingdom division seeds thrown in here towards the end of David's life. May Joab and his descendants be perpetually guilty of their shed blood, but may the Lord give perpetual peace to David and his descendants, his family, and his dynasty. That would be kind of nice if there was perpetual shalom. There is not. So Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, went up and executed Joab. He was buried at his home in the wilderness. The king appointed Jenaniah, son of Jehoiah, to take his place as the head of the army. And the king anointed Zadok the priest to take Abiathar's place. Yeah. Next, the king summoned Shimei and told him, build yourself a house in Jerusalem and live there, but you may not leave there or go anywhere. Okay, so what is this about? So, if you remember the whole thing with fleeing to a city of refuge, if you've committed a murder, you can stay inside the city of refuge. But if you leave the city of refuge, then you can die. And you stay inside that city until the priest dies, who is the chief priest. So he's essentially giving a house arrest order to him. You can live in a house here. You can build a house here. You can stay there. You can't leave and go anywhere. You're stuck under house arrest. If you're in the house, you'll live. If you ever do live and cross the Kidron Valley, know for sure that you will certainly die. You will be responsible for your own death. Shimei said to the king, my master, the king's proposal is acceptable. Your servant will do as you say. So Shimei lived in Jerusalem for a long time. Does this give us a more specific date? Many days. Okay. Yes. 3 years later, two of Shimei's servants ran away to King Achish, son of Maacah, of Gath. Shimei was told, look, your servants are in Gath. So Shimei got up, saddled his donkey, and went to Achish at Gath to find his servants. Oh, he's a descendant of Saul. He's on his donkey looking for his servants. Saul was with a servant looking for the donkeys. Just saying. Shimei went and brought back his servants from Gath. When Solomon was told that Shimei had gone from Jerusalem to Gath and had returned, the king summoned Shimei and said to him, you will recall that I made you take an oath by the Lord, and I solemnly warned you, if you ever leave and go anywhere, know for sure that you will certainly die. You said to me, the proposal is acceptable. I agree to it. Why then have you broken the oath you made before the Lord and disobeyed the order I gave you? Then the king said to Shimei, you are well aware of the way you mistreated my father David, and the Lord will punish you for what you did. But King Solomon will be empowered, and David's dynasty will endure permanently before the Lord. The king then gave the order to Benani and Jehoiada, who went and executed Shimei. So Solomon took firm control of the kingdom. Solomon don't play. I know, but I love look at the way that Solomon lays out the here's like there is justice in what he does. You want to stay here, you can do this. Here's the other thing. Shimei didn't have to go get his servants himself. He could have sent someone else to go get the servants. Why does he go get the servants? Why did the servants run away? He probably mistreated the servants, or they wouldn't be running away. He could have sent some, like I said, there's more going on. There's more going on for sure. So, all right, let's go ahead and get to Solomon wisdom, because that's what he's known for. Solomon made an alliance by marriage with Pharaoh, king of Egypt. He married Pharaoh's daughter. Okay, so this is mentioned as the first of the marriages of Solomon. The world may never know. He's marrying Pharaoh's daughter. We don't know any more about it. We don't know why, but it says he made an alliance by marriage. He's making an alliance with Pharaoh. So David is a man of war. Solomon is a man of peace. He does it through marriage. Not a great plan overall. Now, this might have been to go and align himself with Egypt if it was okay with God. Then you're pretty secure. The two of you can defeat almost anyone else. He brought her to the city of David until he could finish building his residence and the temple of the Lord and the wall around Jerusalem. Ooh, the wall around Jerusalem. Was there not a wall previously? Oh, they're just giving me maps. Now the people were offering sacrifices at the high places, because in those days a temple had not yet been built to the Lord. Okay, so this doesn't mean they're worshiping other gods. It just means the location of their sacrifices. They're going to the high places. Solomon demonstrated his loyalty to the Lord by following the practices of his father David, except that he offered sacrifices and burnt incense on the high places. So he's following David's practices, but he's also worshiping on the high places. And the whole idea behind the high places is you're closer to God or the gods or a god. And so gods dwell in the high places, in the mountains or in gardens. The king went to Gibeon to offer sacrifices, for it had the most prominent of high places. Solomon would offer up 1,000 burnt sacrifices on the altar there. One night in Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream. God said, "Tell me what I should give you." Solomon replied, "You demonstrated great loyalty to your servant, my father David, as he served you faithfully, properly, and sincerely. You have maintained this great loyalty to this day by allowing his son to sit on his throne. Now, O Lord my God, you have made your servant king in my father David's place, even though I am only a young man and am inexperienced. Your servant stands among your chosen people. They are a great nation. They too are numerous to count or number." Ooh, which is part of the promise that the descendants of Abraham will be too great to count. What does David do? He counts them. Not a good plan. So give your servant a discerning mind. Oh, a hearing heart is really what it is, a hearing heart. So he can make judicial decisions for your people and distinguish between right and wrong. Otherwise, no one is able to make judicial decisions for this great nation of yours. The Lord was pleased with Solomon, made this request. God said to him, "Because you asked for the ability to make wise judicial decisions, and not for long life, or riches, or vengeance on your enemies, I grant your request and give you a wise and discerning mind." Okay, I really think it should be heart. Did they change it? Yeah, heart. But I get it. We think of wisdom of here, but justice would be here. Superior to that of anyone who has preceded or will succeed you. Furthermore, I am giving you what you did not request, riches and honor, so that you be the greatest king of your generation. If you follow my instructions, here's the if clause. If you follow my instructions by obeying my rules and regulations, just as your father David did, then I will grant you long life. So he's going to get riches and fame, but long life is contingent. Solomon then woke up and realized it was a dream. He went to Jerusalem, stood before the ark of the Lord's covenant, offered up burnt sacrifice, presented peace offerings, and held a feast for all his servants. So he goes to the high place, has an encounter with God. His immediate response is go to the ark. Go to the very presence of God and offer sacrifices there as well. Then one of the most famous stories. Then 2 prostitutes came to the king and stood before him. One of the women said, "My master, this woman and I live in the same house. I had a baby while she was with me in the house. Then 3 days after I had my baby, this woman also had a baby. We were alone. There was no one else in the house except the 2 of us. The woman's child suffocated during the night when she rolled on top of him. She got up in the middle of the night and took my son from my side while your servant was sleeping. She put him in her arms, and he put the dead son in my arms. I got up in the morning to nurse my son, and there he was, dead. But when I examined him carefully in the morning, I realized it was not my baby." The other woman said, "No, my son is alive, your son is dead." But the first woman replied, "No, your son is dead, mine is alive." Each presented their case before the king. The king said, One says, my son is alive, your son is dead, while the other says, no, your son is dead, while mine is alive. Notice the parallels there of the chiasm. The king ordered, get me a sword. So they placed the sword before the king, and the king said, cut the living child in two and give half to one and half to the other. The real mother spoke up to the king, for her motherly instincts were awakened. Her compassion grew warm for her son. I'm sorry, I like that compassion more than motherly instincts. I'm sorry, I understand motherly instincts. Compassion is a thing that can carry on to anybody in any circumstance. So that's why I like it. She said, my master, give her the living child. Whatever you do, do not kill him. But the other one said, neither of us will have him. Let them cut him in two. The king responded, give the first woman the living child. Don't kill him. She is the mother. When all Israel heard about the judicial decision which the king had rendered, they respected the king, for they realized that he possessed divine wisdom to make judicial decisions. The phrase wisdom of God may be taken as an attribute, genitive, divine. Okay, they're just explaining why they went with divine wisdom instead of wisdom of God. Okay. Oh, yay, a long list of names. Everybody loves names. Okay. There we go. That'll do it for today. So we went through 1 Kings 3. Let me write that down. So, we should be in Acts on Monday then. We should be in the book of Acts on Monday. I'll get this all filled out, figure out where we are, where we need to be, and all of that. So, thanks all for hanging out, being in the stream today, being in God's Word. Man, we covered a lot of stuff, looked at a lot of words, and your brain is leaking with information as usual, but it's good. The Holy Spirit will reveal as needed. Hallelujah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love that. Like if you read enough scripture, then you're going to know enough of it when things happen to have it speak to you. And now, after having read it, and we do some of this and we engage in it, we're meditating on it. We're not just, let me read the word and get to the next thing. I mean, if all you're looking for is to have the word read to you, there's plenty of apps. There are plenty of just have it play and listen. But we spend some time engaging as well. And so I love the way that you guys engage it with me. We learn together. This is not about me giving you all knowledge. I mean, I share my knowledge, which I gained from other people. You share your knowledge and you share your insights, and it's just fantastic. I just love that. Just love that. Okay. Singing. Is there anything else I wanted to show everybody? Yeah, thank you, Temple Snail. So let's see who. Oh, let's go see if Hannah, because we had a redeem to raid Hannah. Let's see if she's streaming today. Because on the day that we had that, we had already had a redeem, and I need to make sure it only... Oh, she is. She is. So we're going to go over and we're going to raid Hannah. So let me get that up a second. Oh, it looks like Fortnite today. Not my fave. I'm not a first-person shooter, but not a bad game to watch people play. So, all right. Switch screens. We already had a redeem blessing, but you know what? That's to be able to have it any time. I can still give you a blessing at the end of stream, too. Watching says, ironically, some of the best times I have in Scripture are some of the most confusing times. Those times when I finished reading something, take a breath, and stare at the ceiling in bewilderment. And then I have to talk with God. Yep. Doesn't always give me the answer, but at least let me know I'm checking in and trying to get answers, which means I'll spend time with God, His Word, and His presence. I think it all lines up. Oh, totally. Totally does. Yep. Sealing in bewilderment. I think I said that. I don't think I read it right, even though you typed it, or it got sent wrong. Anyway. Let me start the read. Okay. May God's seeking comfort find you. May His loving arms bind you. May His might protect you. May His wisdom direct you. May the joyous love of Jesus Christ be with you and all those you know, both now and forevermore. Amen. Thank you for hanging out with me, for blessing my day, and I pray you have a blessed weekend.
Dashing through pages, chronicles, gospels, prophets, sages, Leviticus, laws to Paul's fine phrases, turning them corners, no spiritual mazes, Genesis to Revelation, self-divine, flipping scripts, endless grace you'll find, Psalms singing sweet unbroken lines, hitting that rhythm, wordplay refined. Anybody in here blessed? I'm blessed. Anybody in here blessed? I'm blessed. Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? I'm blessed. Wake up early, the dawn's like shimmers. Spiritual breakfast, soul food dinners. Isaiah's vision, Ezekiel's figures. Walk through the fire, no one limbers. Kings and judges, prophets profound. Plowing the word, no mythical ground. Verse after verse, wisdom's bound. Heavenly soundtrack, soul's urban sound. Anybody in here blessed? I'm blessed. Anybody in here blessed? I'm blessed. Bible in 1 year, we don't rest. Anybody in here blessed? I'm blessed. No shortcuts, all divine routes. Listen to the whispers, no room for doubt. Parables drop stronger than gold faucets. Souls hydrated from divine prophets. Study the book, change perspectives. Carefully crafted, not too subjective. A year to reflect, learn and perfect. Patterns of grace that time can't deflect. Old Testament drops, deep and so real. Kings and warriors, covenant